He called it a mistake, but it was routine. The first time he told me was with a shaking voice. It was a mistake, he murmured, as if speaking quietly might make it untrue. His eyes were moist, his hands trembling, the guilt polished neatly in a box that he called remorse. I stood there, barefoot on the cold floor, holding his phone as if it were something poisonous. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to believe him. Mistakes happen, people said. Humans are flawed. Love is complicated. So, I forgave him. I didn't know at the time that errors have no rhythm. Our life on the outside seemed perfect. That was his favorite part. The photos, the laughter at dinners, the holding of hands in public, like I reminded him that there was something good. Friends envied us. Family trusted him. Even I believed him, until belief became something I had to talk myself into. The first clue wasn't another message. It was not lipstick or late nights, not sudden secrecy. It was repetition. The same excuses, the same apologies, the same vows, spoken the same way, as if they'd been rehearsed too many times in front of a mirror. I wasn't thinking. It didn't mean anything. It will never happen again. And he said it so forcefully every time. And every time, I sucked down my doubt and breathed in hope. I reminded myself that healing wasn't linear. I reminded myself love needed patience. I would remind myself that forgiveness is a form of strength. What they never tell you is forgiveness can turn the leash around. I began to observe the peace he experienced after telling the truth. How relieved. As if burdening himself didn't matter more than the load on my chest. He'd cry, I'd comfort him. He would break something and I'd help him clean it up. That should have scared me. The second turning point didn't amount to heartbreak. It felt like déjà vu. Different name, same tone, same secret conversations tucked between the innocuous fodder of polite ones. Same timestamps, late nights, early mornings, pockets of stolen moments in between our life together. He didn't panic when I confronted him. He sighed. That was when I knew. Mistakes come with shock. Routines come with exhaustion. He sank into a chair, his fingers rumbling through his hair as he regarded me wearily, the expression of a man who has had to say this too many times. I warned you before, he murmured. It was a mistake. But this time, it was not his voice that broke. I asked him why. Not angrily. Not accusingly. I inquired as if I were a no-speaker trying to grasp an unknown language. He said he didn't know. He told me it didn't mean he didn't love me. He said it wasn't intended to go this far. Funny how much every visitor's distance traveled is. After that, I paid attention not only to what he did, but how effortlessly he did it. The way he compartmentalized his life into perfectly labeled boxes. How guilt would come to him, briefly, then leave him be. The way forgiveness was going to show up right on time like it always did. That's when it hit me. This wasn't chaos. This was organization. He knew when to hide. He knew when to lie. He knew when to cry. He knew when to apologize. He knew I would stay. I didn't ask any more questions after that. Not out of heartlessness, but because I finally knew the answers could never change. Instead, I observed. I saw how he acted like my pain was a bother, and how he hated for my tears to go on too far. How I scared him that time with my silence more than if I'd been angry, because there was no promise of comfort in silence. I observed how he got nicer when I started to distance myself. How love came only when he was forced out. How love became loud when control felt tenuous. That wasn't love. That was maintenance. The worst of it was not finding the truth, again. It was that I had normalized so much betrayal. I had learned how to sleep next to someone who hurt me. How to smile when you believe in nothing. How to justify disrespect in the name of love. I'd mistaken endurance for loyalty. One night, I gazed into the mirror and barely recognized the woman looking back. She looked tired. Not just physically, emotionally spent, as though she'd been arguing her worth for way too long. What I realized at that moment was something that no apology could reverse. Had it genuinely been a mistake, he would have learned from it. If it were real regret, you wouldn't do the shit again. If it was real love, it wouldn't need me to die in order to keep going. He didn't cheat accidentally. He cheated comfortably. And at last I understood that the kind thing was not to stay. It was permission. The day I left was nothing dramatic. No screaming. No accusations. No final confrontation. I didn't owe him closure. I owed myself peace. When I said I was finished, he seemed genuinely confused. I said I was sorry, he complained.
It was all so obvious now.
He didn't apologize for his actions. He regretted that it had made me less available to him. I left burdened with grief. Yes, but also relief. Because I knew in the hollow shell of my chest that the hardest truth had already landed. Some people don't make mistakes. They make habits. And some apologies aren't for healing. They are designed to reset the cycle. I didn't leave because he cheated. I walked out because, after referring to a routine as an error and expecting me to continue believing in him. And this time I took myself instead.